Hello, special Brownlow Medal laid back with Betfair as I welcome Karl Kaldawi. Did I get that right? On debut. Welcome, mate.
You need some practice there, Tommy, but very excited. I've obviously been a part of the show, just behind the camera having a look, but love the work that you've been doing. And obviously it's an awesome time of year. We got great racing, but also great footy, preliminary finals coming up, and then obviously the Brownlow Medal on Sunday, the Sunday slot.
Yes, so tune in to SEN as well for the Brownlow Medal. We'll be on all night, so can't wait for that. Plenty happening with the Brownlow Medal. We've been talking about it throughout the year. Great to have you here, Karl. Obviously no salts. You've got big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill.
But you're an AFL man, so I look forward to chatting all things Brownlow Medal. As you know, Karl, we get stuck into a lay-bin first off, and you've got a long list here, mate. You're pretty angry. You're coming in fired up.
Look, I wanted to change things up. Like, obviously, there's a lot of negativity that goes through the lay-bin. I'm going to start off with a backboard. You know, the blackboard?
Yes.
We got the blackboard up behind us, but I'm calling it the backboard. I want to speak positive, right? Premiership droughts, breaking them.
This is new to the show. I don't know about this.
Think about Sydney breaking that premiership drought, the Western Bulldogs, Carlton next year. What about the Ivanhoe Football Club?
Carlton are coming.
What about the Ivanhoe Football Club on Sunday, my local club?
You recovered?
Yeah.
You pulled up all right?
I didn't play. I was just a fan from the sidelines.
I'm the reserves celebrations.
Coach. Came from the celebrations. 30 points down at points of the game. Only led for 2 minutes of the game. Broke a 53-year premiership drought. Some people that have been around the club for years and years have never seen a senior premiership and finally got it on Sunday. So breaking premiership droughts, there was tears everywhere and absolutely love that. In terms of a lay,
You've somehow made this lay bin about you here, but anyway.
It's what it's all about. I'm happy to do that.
Good.
In terms of my lay, this is going to be very, very controversial. I'm keen to know what your thoughts are. Day grand finals.
You're laying them.
I don't know whether I'm going to fully lay day grand finals, but what I'm going to lay is people that say that they don't like day grand finals or night grand finals because they're going to be too inebriated.
Who says that?
Oh, so many people. I just think it's the worst excuse in the world. Like, I'm happy to can a little bit of tradition. We've canned a lot of things in the AFL over the past couple of years. Let's get to at least the Twilight Grand Final because I reckon Robbie Williams doing his halftime show at night is the way to go.
How good would that be? We follow American sports in a lot of things, but a night grand final, I agree with you. I don't mind the night grand final. My lay bin, Jared Berry suspension. I know he got off, but ridiculous decision in the first place. You can't be suspending a bloke for that. Ruin the week for him. They challenged it. He got a week. Put it in the lay bin. He shouldn't have got suspended. Fitzy told me this as I walked in the SEN studios on Sunday that he got a week. I almost fell off my chair. Couldn't believe it, mate. So that whole process, Jared Berry getting 1 week in the first place, absolutely in the lay bin for me. I talked about, with Salts on the racing one, the price hike for flights, obviously, interstate and whatnot, and Collingwood and Victorian supporters only suddenly realising that airlines put the prices up grand final week. Like, interstate people have had to travel every year if they want to come over to the grand final. Prices go through the roof, and Victorians are only starting to realise. So get in the lay bin.
In fairness, it's a 9-hour drive. Like, come on. I do the drive to Adelaide a fair bit. I haven't done it to Sydney too many times, but it's not that bad of a drive. Get to a couple of bakeries on the way, you know. Put the Spotify on, listen to Layback with Betfair, you'll be fine.
Country bakeries should be in the backboard. They are
on
brilliant.
The backboard.
All right, we're here to talk about Brownlow Medal. Karl, nothing more to do. Obviously, it's great. I'll read the odds out. What a count it is. Really open this year. Lachie Neale, $3.15 at the moment on betfair.com.au. Clayton Oliver, $3.70. Cripps, $6.60. Andrew Brayshaw, $9.20. Took Miller, $11. Petracca, $14s. And write your own the rest. Looks a race in 2, maybe 3. Which way are you heading?
At this stage, and it's interesting, like you look at the whole market, it's going to be a really, really tight Brownlow. That's what the Betfair predictor says. But I have to go with Lachie Neale. Obviously predicted to get most votes. He's played 22 games, kicked 11 goals. He's been the leading ball getter in 11 of Brisbane's wins this year, which obviously plays a massive role to the umpires if your team is winning. He's predicted to poll in all of these games, all the Brisbane games that they've won this year. And we know he's an umpire favourite. Obviously won the Brownlow Medal a couple of years ago. Another interesting stat is he averages top 10 in the AFL for disposals, contested possessions and AFL Coaches Awards. These feats were replicated by 9 of the last 10 Brownlow winners,
Ooh, that's a good little.
massive. He's
Might use that for radio Sunday night. Thank you. Flick that to me.
He's obviously predicted to get 28.5 votes, which is what the Brownlow predictor on Betfair says. The next best is Hugh McCluggage, but back down on 15.5 votes. Like, obviously, we look at the Melbourne situation where you've got Gawn, you've got Clarry, you've got Petracca. Like, there's a lot of competition for votes there. It looks like he's not going to get much competition from other Brisbane players. So at this stage, like, I think Lachie Neale is the pick of the bunch, and I reckon at $3.15, it looks like a really, really strong bet. What I will say is that Lachie Neale's finish to the season might not have been as strong as Clayton Oliver, who you're going to speak about in a minute, but at that stage of the season, obviously, you can look at the markets in play, and potentially, if you're worried, you could set a lay bet at the end of the around the round 20 mark, and potentially get your money back on that stake. But yeah, keen to hear your arguments for Clarry.
It's going to be really interesting to count this year, and I've harped on this talking about the Brownlow. A lot of the top 5 or 6 had really good starts to the season, and we can trade on the Brownlow Medal throughout the count now, which is amazing on betfair.com.au. You go through the stats. Lachie Neale, rounds 1 and 2, head to the Brownlow Medal predictor at the Betfair Hub as well, Karl. Lachie Neale started the year on fire. He had 2 quiet games in rounds 3 and 4, but then he goes through round 5 through 11. He polls 3 in almost every game bar rounds 6 and 10. So come round 11 or 13, halfway through the year, he probably gets 3 in round 13 as well. He's going to be absolutely airborne, and he will probably be shorter than $3.15 at some stage throughout the year, as you alluded to. The Brownlow Medal predictor on the Betfair Hub has only got him polling in 3 games in the back end of the year, which is amazing. So he looks like him and probably Cripps go into this midway through the year as favourites, and they'll probably be right up there come round 13 or 14. But you go through, like, Clayton Oliver finished the year averagely. Andrew Brayshaw got in as low as about 280 at some stages throughout the year. He's only polling in one of the last 7 or 8 rounds as well.
And he was an awesome trading opportunity during the year. He got to heights of $30. And I know early in the year, if you were following the Betfair Brownlow predictor, I think Andrew Brayshaw is one of the favourites to be leading the Brownlow Medal before round 5.
Yes.
And obviously, at that stage, if you wanted to back him in the outright markets, he was still $26. I think I tweeted it earlier in the year, making sure I'm giving my tweet a bit of a plug. So obviously, an awesome back-to-lay opportunity Andrew Brayshaw was throughout the year. One more thing to touch on is, like, you could potentially lay him after round 13 because he's predicted to poll in 10 of 13 games before the bye. That's when his price is going to get shortest. At that stage, when his price is shortest, you can lay off and potentially, even out your stake.
So he traded as high as 170 in play, Andrew Brayshaw. He hit as low as $3.20, and that would have been around that round 14, 13 mark. Go through the Brownlow Medal predictor. He's got 2, 2, 2.5, 1, 2, 2. So the first 6 rounds he's polling in all 6, and then he gets a game in round 7 where he probably doesn't poll. Polls 3 in round 8, blank, blank, and then goes 2, 3, 3. So as you said, 10 of 13 to start the year polling. Clayton Oliver was good, but yeah, you'll find a lot of these genuine favourites this year in the Brownlow started the year well and had average back ends to the year. One that probably didn't, and it will come down to round 23, maybe round 22, and how many votes he gets is Clayton Oliver. Now, Brisbane played Lachie Neale's Brisbane round. Melbourne played Brisbane round 23. Clayton Oliver and Melbourne won that game convincingly. Lachie Neale definitely won't poll. Clayton Oliver had a really good game that round. It will come down to that, I think, and I think Lachie Neale might get run down in round 23 by Clayton Oliver. That's the way I'm seeing it. You go through that game. Round 23, Brisbane 57, Melbourne 115 points. Clayton Oliver had 30 disposals, 10 AFL coaches' votes, 9 Age Player of the Year votes, 3 Herald Sun votes. Best on for a winning team. He could get 3, maybe 2. That'll win in the Brownlow. So I'm with him. Overall, I think he can get the chocolates.
I think it's important to note, like what was said before, Lachie's currently 315 in the Brownlow. He's not going to be 315 in round 22. If you think potentially you could get chased down, like what you're saying, that's why Betfair's awesome. You can obviously, there's clearly a back-to-lay opportunity there. He's going to shorten significantly in the market by that stage.
What's going to be interesting if Lachie Neale has 4 votes up with 2 rounds to play over Clayton Oliver, and the predictors got Oliver getting 3 in the last 2 rounds. He might get 4, he might get 5, he could even get 6, but that's going to be amazing. So depending on how you've done it and how you do your form, you can back and lay Lachie Neale and Clayton Oliver late in the piece. It's going to be a fascinating count this year. I can't wait for it. Don't forget to head over to betfair.com.au. We've got top 3, top 5, top 10, top 20. We've got winning margins, team votes, player votes, leader after round 5 as well. We've got all the markets there. Is there anything else you're keen to play into or lay in any of these markets, Carl?
I think there's obviously some awesome markets up on the exchange. One interesting market that I'm looking at is the top 10 market, and there's a player in particular, Connor Rosie, who's obviously had his best or career best year for Port Adelaide. We know that they had a very, very slow start to the year, but it's looking like Connor Rosie's going to poll similar votes to Ollie Wines, who obviously won the medal last year. He's rated above average for disposals, tackles, clearances this year and improved on all his key stats year on year from last year, except goals, but he still kicked 18 for the year, which is a really, really good effort, especially from the midfield. Predicted to get 17.5 votes for the year. My only thing with Connor is that Port started really slow. It's going to be really hard for him to be receiving votes. Obviously, in the showdown, he won the showdown medal, and he's gonna get the 3 votes for that game. But that's the only game in the first 8 rounds that he's predicted to poll in. So there's going to be some interesting things that you could potentially do in play on the night. Obviously, my play on Connor Rosie in terms of the top 10 market, if he doesn't poll more than 3 votes before round 10, I might look to lay him. But if he does poll more than 3 before round 10, then I think he could be a good trading option to back for the top 10.
Love that trading strategy. Another one's Zach Merritt. He started the year awful. Essendon started the year pretty poorly. He went through a phase between round 16 and round 20 where he could almost poll 15 votes, a perfect 15. Now, the only player to do similar was Nat Fyfe in 2015 where he polled 3-3, 2, 3-3, and Lachie Neale actually stole the 3 votes off him in that round. So, and Nat Fyfe won the Brownlow there. So that 5 rounds for Zach Merritt between rounds 16 and 20 is going to be really interesting to see what he does and what he polls because it could see him get in the top 10. Jeremy Cameron's been one all year. He's been a massive price, but he's been the star in a very even Geelong side. He's averaging high possessions. He's kicked goals. He's one for me that can poll really well and be a good top 10 bet. Callum Mills has finished the year superbly as well. He looks like he'll get into the top 10.
Name 2 of my boys there, Jeremy Cameron and Callum Mills. I've absolutely loved the year from both, especially Callum Mills. He's certainly gone underrated, over in Sydney, and that often happens.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's such a good, now that we can bet live throughout the count, the trading opportunities on betfair.com.au this year are going to be amazing. So get the Brownlow Medal Predictor up, head to betfair.com.au hub, Google Brownlow Medal Predictor at Betfair, it'll come up. Get that up, read the count, trade, do what you need to do. Any other bets for you, mate?
Not on the Brownlow. I'm going to have a look. As you said, obviously there's trading opportunities that can be done now that you can bet in play from your computer or your phone.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the excitement of the count. I reckon it's going to be one of the closest we've had in the last few years. And something that we haven't mentioned is, maybe we'll get a 2 winners or 3 winners on the night. Who knows? But yeah, looking forward to it.
Very good. Now we've got Sydney Collingwood Prelim and Geelong Brisbane Prelim. I'll read the premiership market out on betfair.com.au. Geelong $2.18 to win the flag. Sydney $3.30. Collingwood $6.80 and Brisbane $9.80. Who's your tip?
I've got something for you for the Brisbane Geelong game. I've got a little stat. So the year Brisbane, the year Brisbane last defeated Geelong outside the Gabba, Facebook launched at Harvard. The Olympics were in Greece, and the star of Stranger Things. I know you're a massive Stranger Things fan. The one that plays 11. This one here, Millie Bobby Brown. She was born outside the Gabba. Brisbane haven't defeated Geelong since 2004. And so clearly they've got a massive task at the MCG.
So you're laying Brisbane.
That would be the bet in that game. But it's finals footy, obviously a preliminary final. It's always exciting. So looking forward to that game.
I can't wait. Brisbane obviously underdogs against Richmond and Melbourne. Huge game last week. Have you got any data from last week?
Oh, the Washup data from the Melbourne-Brisbane game is absolutely amazing. Yep. So Melbourne touched $1.07 in play and 113,000 just a little bit more than that, was matched at or below $1.20.
113,000.
Yeah, and Brisbane obviously went on to win that game, and they got to 1550, and almost 3,000 was matched there. So there was plenty happening in play there.
And Melbourne are making a habit of this. It's happened all year when Freo knocked them off as well. Fremantle hit hundreds or 50s in play, and Fremantle ran over the top of Melbourne. It's been Darren Burgess has left Melbourne, and they just haven't been running out games as strongly this year as they did last year, and it's been a common trend. So the smart punters could have taken some 15-50 about Brisbane.
We know it's hard to go back-to-back. You know, obviously teams are finishing later in the year. They've got less pre-seasons. They're partying for a little bit longer. Are we ever going to see a back-to-back again? I don't know. A team's got to be pretty good.
I think we will.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully Melbourne can bounce back next year.
Your mob, Carlton, back-to-back, mate.
I'm going for the three-peat.
Maybe back-to-back finals. Let's start small for your mob.
No, definitely starting small. Sorry, I don't want to get ahead of myself, Carlton supporters. I'm really trying to keep a lid on it.
Thanks for joining me, mate. It's been a good debut. I loved it.
Loved Thanks for nursing me along, Tom.
I did nothing, mate. Thank you for joining us. We've got plenty of other layback with Betfairs coming up. We've got all the horse racing over a huge spring. Tune into SEN as well from 5 p.m. Sunday night. We'll be on air talking all things Brownlow thanks to betfair.com.au. Join us with Layback with Betfair. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.